Eggs are a favorite of many and popular all over the world, but did you know that they can be a real disaster for your health? In this video, we will reveal 10 fatal mistakes with eggs that can cost you your life. These mistakes can lead to stomach cancer, stroke, or even cardiac arrest. From dangerous food combinations to improper preparation and storage, you'll be surprised at how dangerous what you thought was harmless can turn out to be. Watch to the end to learn how to keep yourself and your loved ones safe from these dangerous traps. This video will be extremely informative and helpful. So, if you want to become a master of your health, click like, and let's get started. Mistake 1. Excessive consumption of fried eggs in oil. This mistake can be a serious threat to your health, increasing your risk of developing serious diseases such as atherosclerosis, myocardial infarction, stroke, and stomach cancer. Frying eggs in oil, especially when that oil is used repeatedly, can lead to the formation of trans fats and carcinogenic compounds. These substances accumulate in the body and contribute to atherosclerosis, a condition in which arteries thicken and lose elasticity, which significantly increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases such as myocardial infarction and stroke. Studies have shown that regular consumption of foods cooked with fried oil can significantly increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. For example, one study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who regularly consumed fried foods had a 48% increased risk of coronary heart disease. One striking case was reported at a medical center in the United States. The patient, a 52-year-old obese man, complained of regular chest pains and shortness of breath. On examination, it was found that the man ate 4 to 5 eggs fried in large amounts of sunflower oil every day. Tests showed high cholesterol levels and the presence of extensive atherosclerotic plaques in the arteries. After being diagnosed with coronary heart disease, he was scheduled for bypass surgery. Doctors noted that the repeated use of frying oil also played a role in worsening the patient's condition by contributing to the accumulation of harmful substances in his body. In addition, carcinogenic substances such as acrolein are formed when the oil is heated to high temperatures. These substances cause inflammation in the stomach and intestines, increasing the risk of cancer. To minimize the risks, it is recommended to limit the consumption of fried eggs, especially those cooked in oil. Instead, it is better to prepare eggs by boiling or steaming, which preserves their beneficial properties and minimizes the formation of harmful compounds. If you do prefer fried eggs, use a minimal amount of oil, preferably cold-pressed virgin olive oil, and don't overheat them. Keep the temperature below 180 degrees Celsius or 356 degrees Fahrenheit. In summary, heart and gastrointestinal health depends largely on how we prepare our food. Moderate consumption of boiled or steamed eggs without adding a lot of fat can help reduce your risk of serious diseases and keep you healthy for years to come. Mistake 2. Consuming eggs with added salt, sugar, or harmful additives. Risk of hypertension, diabetes, kidney failure, stomach cancer. Cooking eggs with a lot of salt, sugar, or other harmful ingredients is a practice that can cause serious harm to your body. Salt, for example, raises blood pressure, which over time can lead to the development of hypertension, a condition associated with an increased risk of myocardial infarction, stroke, and heart failure. Diabetes, in turn, can be triggered by excessive consumption of sugar, which is often added to dishes with eggs, such as omelets or baked goods. Studies have shown that regular consumption of foods high in salt and sugar significantly increases the risk of developing chronic diseases. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that higher salt intake was associated with increased blood pressure and a 32% higher risk of hypertension. Similarly, excessive sugar consumption, especially when combined with other carbohydrates, is associated with increased insulin levels and the development of type 2 diabetes. A New York City hospital reported the case of a 45-year-old woman who consumed eggs with added salt and sugar daily while making her favorite breakfast omelet. Despite regular exercise, she developed hypertension and then type 2 diabetes. Doctors analyzing her diet concluded that the key factor was the high salt and sugar content in her daily meals, including eggs. Subsequently, the patient had to significantly change her diet and start medication. In addition, there is evidence that high salt and sugar intake is associated with an increased risk of stomach cancer. Salty foods can damage the gastric mucosa, contributing to inflammation and increasing the likelihood of malignant tumors. To minimize the risks, it is recommended to cook eggs with minimal added salt and sugar. Instead, you can use fresh or dried herbs, spices, and small amounts of lemon juice to flavor your dishes without harming your health. It is also important to avoid adding harmful ingredients such as trans fats and artificial additives. Thus, your choices in cooking have a significant impact on your health. Limiting your intake of salt, sugar, and harmful additives when cooking eggs will help reduce your risk of serious diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, and stomach cancer, and keep you healthy for years to come. Mistake 3. Abusing dishes containing eggs and meat in the same meal, risk of gout, obesity, coronary heart disease, thrombosis. Frequently combining eggs and meat in the same meal can overload the body with protein and saturated fat. Eggs and meat are both protein-rich foods, but when consumed together in large quantities, they can create an excessive load on the body. This can lead to impaired metabolic processes such as purine processing, which in turn can contribute to the development of gout, a painful condition characterized by the accumulation of uric acid crystals in the joints. Studies have shown that excess protein intake, especially when combined with saturated fat, as in the case of meat dishes, increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. In a study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, it was found that people who consumed large amounts of animal proteins, especially when combined with fats, had a 34% higher risk of developing coronary heart disease compared to those with a more balanced diet. A medical center in Chicago, USA, recorded the case of a 58-year-old man who regularly consumed eggs and meat for breakfast, believing it was a good source of energy to start the day. However, after a few years, he developed gout accompanied by severe joint pain and was also diagnosed with high cholesterol and obesity. The patient had to switch to a low-protein and low-fat diet and take steps to lose weight to avoid more serious complications such as myocardial infarction or thrombosis. To minimize the risks, it is recommended that you combine eggs and meat in your diet in moderation, preferring to eat them at different meals. If you do want to include both foods in the same meal, favor lean meats such as chicken or turkey and reduce the portion size. It is also important to supplement the dish with vegetables and greens, which will help balance the amount of fat and protein consumed. Thus, moderation and balance in diet are key factors in maintaining health and preventing serious diseases. A sensible combination of foods and avoiding excessive protein and fat intake will help reduce your risk of developing gout, obesity, coronary heart disease, and thrombosis, keeping you healthy for years to come. Mistake 4. Using raw eggs in sauces and desserts, such as mayonnaise or tiramisu, risk of salmonellosis, toxic infections, gastroenteritis, stomach ulcers. Using raw eggs in the preparation of homemade sauces, such as mayonnaise or desserts such as tiramisu, can pose significant health risks. Raw eggs can be contaminated with the bacterium Salmonella, which causes one of the most common food poisonings, salmonellosis. This infection can lead to serious consequences, especially in immunocompromised people, children, and the elderly. Studies show that about 1 in 20,000 eggs can be contaminated with salmonella. While this seems like a small probability, on the scale of mass consumption, the risk becomes significant. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, there are thousands of cases of salmonellosis reported each year, many of which are linked to the consumption of raw or inadequately heat-treated eggs. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, There are thousands of cases of salmonellosis reported each year, many of which are linked to the consumption of raw or inadequately heat-treated eggs. The infection can cause severe abdominal pain, diarrhea, fever, and can even lead to stomach ulcers or other chronic GI diseases. In 2010, there was a major salmonellosis outbreak in the United States linked to raw egg consumption that affected more than 1,500 people. One of the most affected was a 30-year-old woman who regularly prepared homemade mayonnaise using raw eggs. After consuming the contaminated product, she was hospitalized with acute gastroenteritis and severe dehydration. Her case, along with others, prompted a massive withdrawal of eggs from the market and increased quality control. To prevent the risk of salmonella and other pathogens, it is recommended to use pasteurized eggs in the preparation of sauces and desserts, which are not subjected to heat treatment. Pasteurized eggs undergo a special treatment that destroys bacteria while preserving all the beneficial properties of the product. If pasteurized eggs are not available, you can substitute them with safe alternatives such as ready-made store-bought mayonnaise or using egg substitutes in desserts. Thus, using raw eggs in homemade sauces and desserts can lead to serious illnesses that can have long-term health consequences. To avoid the risk, it is important to use pasteurized eggs or safe substitutes to help keep you and your loved ones healthy. Mistake 5. Consuming raw or undercooked eggs. Risk of salmonellosis, sepsis, severe diarrhea, dehydration, and kidney failure. Consuming raw or undercooked eggs can be extremely dangerous because such eggs can contain salmonella bacteria. These bacteria are one of the most common causes of severe food poisoning. Salmonellosis can lead to acute gastroenteritis characterized by severe diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal pain, which can lead to dehydration and, in severe cases, kidney failure. Salmonellosis is especially dangerous for children, the elderly, and those with weakened immune systems, as the infection can progress rapidly and lead to sepsis, a potentially fatal condition in which the bacteria spread throughout the body through the bloodstream. Studies show that salmonella infection is a common problem, especially in the United States. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, there are about 1.35 million cases of salmonellosis each year, of which more than 400 cases are fatal. Most of these infections are linked to the consumption of raw or inadequately heat-treated eggs. In 2018, there was a salmonellosis outbreak in the state of California that affected more than 200 people. One of the victims, a 35-year-old man, regularly consumed raw eggs in shakes to increase muscle mass. As a result, he was hospitalized with symptoms of acute gastroenteritis, which developed into sepsis. Doctors fought for his life for several weeks, and although he recovered, he had to undergo a lengthy rehabilitation program. This case was a prime example of the dangers of consuming raw eggs. To prevent the risk of salmonellosis and other infections, it is recommended that eggs be fully cooked to kill any bacteria they may contain. Eggs should be boiled, fried, or baked until the yolk and whites are firm. If recipes call for the use of raw eggs, such as for making mayonnaise or tiramisu, only pasteurized eggs that have undergone special heat treatment to kill pathogens should be used. Thus, consuming raw or undercooked eggs is associated with a high risk of contracting salmonella and other pathogens that can lead to serious and even life-threatening illnesses. Ensuring that eggs are properly heat-treated is a simple but crucial step to protect your health and the health of your loved ones. Mistake 6. Insufficient heat treatment when making scrambled eggs or casseroles, risk of foodborne infections, stomach ulcers, chronic intestinal inflammation. Insufficient heat treatment of eggs when preparing omelets, casseroles, and other dishes is one of the most common mistakes in the kitchen. Pathogens such as Campylobacter or Clostridium perfringens can be present in raw or undercooked eggs and pose significant health risks. These bacteria can cause serious foodborne infections accompanied by severe abdominal pain, diarrhea, and vomiting. In more severe cases, infections can lead to stomach ulcers or chronic intestinal inflammation, requiring long and complex treatment. Studies show that undercooked eggs are a major source of infections caused by Campylobacter and Clostridium perfringens bacteria. A study published in the Journal of Food Safety found that about 30% of food poisoning cases in the U.S. are linked to the consumption of undercooked eggs or dishes made from eggs with improper temperature control. These infections can lead to long-term problems with the digestive system and can seriously affect quality of life. In 2019, a Florida clinic reported the case of a 28-year-old woman who regularly made omelets with vegetables without always cooking the eggs until fully cooked. After one such breakfast, she went to the hospital with severe abdominal pain and diarrhea. Tests revealed an infection caused by the bacterium Campylobacter. Doctors found that the source of the infection was insufficiently heat-treated eggs. The woman was treated with antibiotics, but the infection caused chronic inflammation of the intestines, which required further observation and treatment. To avoid the risk of pathogen infection, eggs should be thoroughly heat-treated. Omelets, casseroles, and other dishes containing eggs should be cooked at a temperature of at least 70 degrees Celsius, 158 degrees Fahrenheit, for sufficient time to ensure that all harmful bacteria are killed. It is also important to ensure that the egg whites and yolks thicken completely and do not remain liquid. Thus, insufficient heat treatment of eggs when making omelets and casseroles can lead to serious infections and long-term health problems. Following proper cooking methods and heating eggs thoroughly can help avoid these risks and keep the whole family healthy. Mistake 7. Consuming eggs with bright orange or unnatural yolk color. Risk of chemical poisoning, metabolic disorders, liver cancer. Bright orange or unnatural egg yolk color is often perceived as a sign of high nutritional value. However, this color may be the result of synthetic additives such as cantharaxanthin or other artificial pigments used in bird feed. These substances are added to feed to give eggs the richer color that consumers associate with quality. However, long-term consumption of eggs with this altered composition can be harmful to the human body. Studies show that some artificial additives used to change the color of the yolk may have carcinogenic properties and can disrupt the body's metabolic processes. The study, published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, notes that long-term consumption of products containing synthetic pigments can lead to the accumulation of toxic substances in the liver and increase the risk of metabolic disorders and liver cancer. In one case reported at a Los Angeles clinic, a 42-year-old man presented with complaints of abdominal pain and digestive problems. On examination, it was found that he regularly consumed eggs with bright orange yolk, which he thought were healthier. However, during analysis, traces of synthetic additives used in poultry feed were found to be the cause of his symptoms. The patient showed early signs of metabolic disorders and an increased risk of developing liver disease. To avoid the risks associated with consuming eggs with unnaturally bright yolk color, it is recommended to choose eggs produced on farms with natural bird feed without the use of synthetic additives. Pay attention to the labeling, which confirms that the eggs are produced without the use of artificial pigments and other chemical additives. It is also a good idea to contact local producers who can provide information about the birds' husbandry practices and the composition of their feed. Thus, consuming eggs with unnatural yolk color can be associated with serious health risks, including poisoning, metabolic disorders, and liver cancer. Choosing natural products and being conscious about your diet can help you avoid these dangers and keep you healthy for years to come. Mistake 8. Consuming eggs from unknown or unsafe suppliers, farm eggs. Risk of brucellosis, ornithosis, salmonellosis, infectious liver disease. Buying eggs from unknown or unreliable suppliers, especially from markets or farmers without proper sanitary inspection, can have serious consequences. Eggs that are sold under unsanitary conditions can be contaminated with dangerous bacteria and viruses. Some of the most common diseases associated with such eggs are brucellosis and ornithosis, which are transmitted from animals to humans through infected animal products. Studies show that eggs purchased from unreliable suppliers are often a source of dangerous infections. A study published in the Journal of Food Protection found that 20% of human infections with salmonella and other pathogens were linked to the consumption of eggs purchased from uncontrolled suppliers. These infections can lead to serious illnesses, especially if not addressed in a timely manner. In 2017, a Texas clinic reported the case of a 65-year-old man who purchased eggs at a local market from an unknown supplier. After consuming the eggs, he felt weak, started experiencing headaches and abdominal pain. The symptoms soon worsened and the patient was diagnosed with brucellosis, a bacterial infection that can lead to chronic liver disease and other serious complications. The man was hospitalized and underwent long-term treatment that included a course of antibiotics. To prevent the risk of contracting dangerous infections, it is recommended to purchase eggs only from verified and certified suppliers where all sanitary standards are observed. Eggs should be stored under proper conditions and properly tested for pathogens. If you prefer to buy eggs from local farmers, make sure that their products are certified and that they follow the necessary sanitary standards. Thus, buying eggs from unreliable suppliers can lead to serious infectious diseases that can threaten your life and health. A responsible approach to product selection and origin can help you avoid dangerous infections and keep you healthy. Mistake 9. Consuming eggs while taking certain medications, or if you have cardiovascular disease, risk of drug interactions, increased cholesterol, thrombosis, heart attacks. Egg consumption in the presence of cardiovascular disease or while taking certain medications requires special caution. Eggs, especially the cholesterol-rich yolks, can affect blood cholesterol levels and increase the risk of atherosclerosis, which is especially dangerous for people with pre-existing cardiovascular problems. In addition, some medications, such as statins, cholesterol-lowering drugs, can interact with cholesterol-rich foods, reducing their effectiveness or causing side effects. Research suggests that excessive egg consumption may be associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, especially in people with a predisposition to high cholesterol levels. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, found that people who regularly consumed eggs, especially more than 3 a day, had a 27% increased risk of cardiovascular disease compared to those who consumed eggs less frequently. In one case, described in the medical literature, a 60-year-old man suffering from coronary heart disease regularly ate 4 eggs for breakfast, despite his doctor's advice to limit his cholesterol intake. He was also taking statins to control his cholesterol levels. A few months later, he suffered a heart attack. Tests showed that his cholesterol levels remained high despite treatment, which was linked to his constant egg consumption. Doctors concluded that his diet neutralized the positive effects of the medication. Other studies show that certain foods, including eggs, can significantly affect the pharmacokinetics of drugs. According to a study published in the Journal of Clinical Pharmacology, foods high in protein can affect the metabolism of drugs in the liver, altering their concentration in the blood and therefore their efficacy. This is especially important for patients undergoing long-term treatment or taking medications that require precise dosing. Also, a case of a 55-year-old woman treated with anticoagulants, drugs that prevent blood clotting, was reported at a hospital in New York City. The patient, on the recommendation of a nutritionist, consumed eggs for breakfast every day. However, further examination revealed that eggs, as a source of vitamin K, reduced the effectiveness of the anticoagulants, which could lead to blood clots and potentially dangerous health consequences. Doctors adjusted her diet to exclude eggs and better control her blood clotting levels. To minimize risks, it is recommended to reduce your egg intake, especially yolks, if you have cardiovascular disease or if you are taking medications that affect cholesterol levels. Instead of eggs, you can use cholesterol-free protein products or egg whites, which contain all the protein you need without the extra fat and cholesterol. Instead of eggs, you can use cholesterol-free protein products or egg whites, which contain all the protein you need without the extra fat and cholesterol. It is important to consult a doctor or nutritionist to make a safe and healthy diet. Thus, consuming eggs while suffering from cardiovascular disease or taking certain medications can significantly affect the effectiveness of treatment and increase the risk of serious complications. A responsible approach to diet and consultation with your doctor can help you avoid these risks and keep you healthy for years to come. Mistake 10. Improper egg storage. Risk of salmonellosis, gastroenteritis, food poisoning. Improper egg storage is a common mistake that can lead to serious health consequences. Eggs left out of the refrigerator at room temperature, especially in warm weather, can provide a breeding ground for bacteria such as salmonella. Even if the eggs look normal, they may be contaminated, and it won't be noticeable until a person experiences symptoms of food poisoning. Studies show that improper storage of eggs significantly increases the risk of bacteria contamination. According to data released by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in cases of salmonella food poisoning linked to eggs, a significant portion was due to improper storage conditions. Storing eggs at temperatures above 7 degrees Celsius, 44.6 degrees Fahrenheit, can accelerate bacterial growth and increase the risk of infections. In 2016, an outbreak of salmonellosis was reported in Arizona, affecting more than 50 people. Investigations revealed that the outbreak was caused by eggs that had been stored outside of the refrigerator in the kitchen of a restaurant for several hours before cooking. As a result, several customers, including children and the elderly, ended up in the hospital with symptoms of acute gastroenteritis caused by salmonella. This case was another reminder of the importance of proper egg storage, both at home and in catering establishments. To minimize risks, eggs should be stored in a refrigerator at a temperature no higher than 4 degrees Celsius, 39.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Eggs should be placed on the inside shelf of the refrigerator, not on the door where the temperature can fluctuate when opened. Also, you should not wash eggs before storing them, as this can remove their natural protective film, increasing the risk of bacteria entering. Thus, proper egg storage is a key step in preventing food poisoning and protecting your health. Following temperature settings and other guidelines can help avoid serious illnesses associated with infections caused by improper food storage. Also, some people wash eggs before storing them in the refrigerator. This can cause illnesses such as salmonellosis, food poisoning, chronic GI infections. Washing eggs before storage can remove the natural protective film on the shell, allowing bacteria to enter and multiply. This increases the risk of foodborne infections. You should never do this. How to use eggs safely for maximum benefits. The important thing here is to follow a few simple but extremely important rules. These rules will help you not only get all the valuable nutrients from eggs, but also avoid possible health risks. First of all, choose eggs of high quality. The ideal choice is organic eggs produced on farms where hens are kept in natural conditions and fed natural feed without additives or antibiotics. Such eggs tend to contain more vitamins and healthy fats and have a richer flavor. Egg storage is another important aspect of egg safety. Eggs should be stored in the refrigerator at a temperature no higher than 4 degrees Celsius, 39.2 degrees Fahrenheit. This will help prevent the growth of bacteria, such as salmonella, that may be on the shell or inside the egg. Also, don't store eggs on the refrigerator door where temperatures can fluctuate. It's best to place them on the center shelf where conditions remain stable. There are also a few important rules to follow when cooking eggs. Whether you are going to make scrambled eggs, boil eggs, or add them to baked goods, make sure they are subjected to adequate heat treatment. Cooking temperatures should reach at least 70 degrees Celsius, 158 degrees Fahrenheit, to kill all possible pathogens. For example, boil eggs for at least 7 to 9 minutes after the water boils so that the yolk and white are fully cooked. It is especially important to avoid using raw eggs in dishes that are not heat-treated, such as homemade mayonnaise or tiramisu. If a recipe calls for raw eggs, it's best to use pasteurized eggs, which are specially treated and considered safe to eat raw. If you are concerned about heart health or are taking medications that affect cholesterol levels, limit your consumption of eggs, especially the yolks, and consult your doctor or nutritionist. Egg whites can be a great alternative, providing your body with pure protein without the extra cholesterol. Finally, always pay attention to the expiration date of eggs and don't use them if they look or smell suspicious. A simple way to test the freshness of an egg is to drop it into a glass of water. Fresh eggs will sink to the bottom, while old eggs will float, indicating that they need to be disposed of. By following these simple but important guidelines, you can enjoy all the health benefits of eggs without fearing for your health. Eggs, if handled properly, will not only be a delicious, but also a safe part of your diet, bringing maximum benefits to your body. What do you think about this? Do you agree with these statements? If there are any questions, ask them in the comments. More information on this topic can be found at the links in the description below this video and on our channel.
Subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications. Please like and share this video with your friends. Thanks to our sponsors for their support. I eagerly await your comments and encourage you to watch these useful videos.